What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Montana Method Podcast once again. As always, your host, Nelson Rodriguez Jr., old familiar face, author, writer of the Montana Method. In today's episode, I have a very special guest, someone that I have grown a good friendship with over the last few years. We have, actually, it's interesting, we met in a self-development course, and from there, I've learned a lot about her, about totally different subjects that had nothing to do with that course. And we've stayed connected. She's a pretty inspiring person. She has a cool story. Aside from that, professionally, she's done some pretty cool things as well. She's multifaceted. She's done so many different things that I'm really curious to learn about. And on top of all that, as you guys know, single mothers, that's the hardest job on the planet. She's a fantastic mother, fantastic woman, fantastic member of society. Please welcome Doralis Ruiz.
I've been out here hustling all my life. Every day we get into it. Really out here in these streets. That's day and night. Like there's nothing to it. When I was going through it, dog, I never got your call. I never asked for nothing, no. But now I want it all. I promise I'ma do it. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags.
Yes, you got it. Well, I got divorced, so it's okay. You might have confused the two last names because I have on one Instagram the Garcia. No,
okay,
Ruiz.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
I thought I saw Garcia. That's why I got confused. Okay, sweet.
Thank you for having me here.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming. I know it's life is hectic and a lot of things going on, and especially obviously you have a family and a full-time career and a million one things. So I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come here. I try to provide value within the time you're here, and most of the time I get to do that, so hopefully I do that today.
Awesome.
How was your Art Basel shopping? Did it go well?
Ooh, yes. Getting ready for this weekend. Art Basel is one of my favorite events.
You're going
to
work, right? Yeah.
I was going to work the event, but I think the universe just wants me to enjoy it this year. So
that sounds cool.
Things changed, and a bunch of private parties, so I hope to do some networking.
Sweet.
As you know, I'm in real estate, so I love seeing the international people coming into the city.
Right. If you wouldn't believe me if I told you that I've never been to Art Basel, and I've lived in Miami my entire life.
The best thing is to go during the day, the beginning of the week, when the tourists are there, not the locals. That's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Not the Miami people.
No, you get to see so many cool faces.
I think it's so funny because we're so intolerant to like our own people that are from here, born and raised here, because we're like, I don't know.
No, but I support all local businesses and I love all the local spots on the weekends and all that. But during Art Basel specifically, I like to mingle with the international
people from, yeah. That's cool.
Plus, there's a bunch of celebrities in town. Leonardo DiCaprio was here yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Everybody's in town.
Have you ever spotted, who's the craziest person you've ever spotted at Art Basel? Like, what's the most,
I personally haven't.
Never?
Just heard stories. Nope.
Oh, okay.
No. Some music festivals, some musicians, DJs, famous DJs, but
That's
outside
cool.
of that, no.
One time, I had a friend of mine who went to this club that I shall not name. He went in there, and then he says he was using the bathroom, and then he looked over, and George Clooney was
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine that? You're using the bathroom, you look over, you're like, George Clooney? He's like, yeah, what's up?
I would definitely think I had one too many drinks. I wouldn't believe it.
That's funny.
No,
oh, my God.
No.
And my friend goes, I told him, bro, Three Kings was great. And George Clooney goes, yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, my God. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's a wild story.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I like about those stories? It makes you realize that you're not looking at some fake person on a screen. They're a real human being, just like you, that just went after what they wanted in life and worked really hard, and they got what they got,
Right. Something we can all do.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. It's touchable. It's palatable. It's not far out of reach. Yeah.
For sure. You weren't born in Miami, were you?
I was born in New York, but I say born and raised in Miami because I came when I was 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but my mom's Cuban and my dad's from Spain. I have dual citizens, so my family in Spain, I have Spaniard and U.S.
Sweet.
So I do go visit. I've gone to Cuba and Spain.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, to see my family there. But Miami, all the way, all my life.
Yeah, how does it work to get the Spanish passport? How is it? You're like, as long as like your grandparents are Spanish.
My father was,
right,
and he got it for me before I turned 18. Things have changed though since he did it for me.
Because I don't know if you know this, a lot of Cubans to leave Cuba, they managed to somehow get a Spanish passport. It's distant relative though, like it's like grandkid or great grandkid something.
Did it.
Yeah,
I mean, I did it because my dad, but yeah, I've heard of a lot of Cubans that go that way first actually.
Because
they go straight to Spain.
Right, because I mean, all of us have. You obviously it's more direct.
Yeah.
The majority of us have Spanish blood. Obviously,
But I don't think it's that easy anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
It used to be.
It used to be.
It used to be pretty simple.
Yeah.
Like I have a close relative she's my es mi tía abuela, but I call her my aunt, whatever. She has a Spanish passport, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't like it wasn't her grandparents. It must have been like her uncle or I don't know.
Wow.
Like it wasn't like immediate
And if
family.
you live there for a year, you can apply for it.
Really?
But I never lived there, so my process was different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now I'm gonna do it for the kids, for my kids.
You see, so the grandkids could do it.
Yes.
Okay.
But because I got it before I was 18, so I know there was like a little loophole or something.
That's cool. I mean, if I was in your position, I definitely would have gotten a Spanish passport.
Yeah, for
you're
sure.
Basically,
Backup plan.
You're a European citizen now, right?
Yeah.
Right? That's cool.
Yeah. And then you can travel to so many places with that passport without a visa. It's not just Spain. It's not just there's even Greece, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
That's cool.
So.
Yeah, because it's part of the European Union or whatnot. That's cool.
Yep.
You know what I think is wild about Europe? Everything Europe is, we're not, and everything we are, Europe isn't.
How so?
So we're about capitalism and making money, and there's like financial success is definitely a topic here.
Yeah.
And in Europe, everyone's like, chill.
Yeah.
Take a chill pill. I'm gonna go home to eat lunch, and I'm gonna close my business for 2 hours, and it's totally different.
And they're all about socializing and going out to dinner. Dinners over there are 9 p.m.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, dinners are at 9 p.m. I've gone a couple times. It's wild.
I've been to Spain once, and I had so much fun. It was great.
It's nice. It's
Yeah.
really nice. But yeah, family does value the time they do work to live. We live to work.
Yeah. And
100%.
another thing I noticed is that we're a little more ahead on technology. You know, like modern. When I went, I went in 2012. So we all had iPhones and Samsung and all that stuff, and they were kind of a little bit behind with technology. However, though, I'm not even criticizing it. I kind of liked it because they weren't so like, you know?
Yeah.
It might be different now, obviously, because
I haven't been in a while.
Yeah, I haven't been there in 10 years. I went in 2012, so it was a long time ago. Yeah, but the hospitality was amazing. You know, you hear the rumors about Europeans being a little snotty or whatever.
That depends. That's like Madrid, but Barcelona's completely different.
I went to Madrid, but I had a great time and nobody treated me bad. Yeah.
Oh, I just stopped at the airport and they treated me bad.
Really?
They got upset. I asked where the bathroom was. I was like, okay, I'm glad I went to Barcelona on this trip. I was like, what?
They're very regional too about their country, right?
Yeah, yeah. And Madrid, they wear more color. Barcelona, están como más. Sorry, I'm gonna add a little Spanish in there. Spanglish. We're from Miami.
Yeah,
Miami.
It's cool.
And then in Barcelona, yeah, more tame, like yeah, completely different vibe. Yeah.
That's really cool.
But now that the kids are 11 and 12, I need to take them. It's time. I just wanted to wait till they were old enough to remember the trip. And
Right,
that's
of
the
course.
age I went at first. So.
Right. Because you have a point. I must have been 2.5, maybe 3 the first time my parents took me to Cuba. Mm-hmm. And it was, my mom went specifically. My dad didn't go. And I don't remember anything from the trip. And they told me the trip and it was so much fun and we did so many things. I was like, man, you know, I'm with you there. I would have done the same. I would have waited until my kids were old enough to remember the trip for sure.
I have my old Instagram that I had when my kids were little and all the activities they did. And now I let them follow it. So they can see everything they did. And they're like, Mom, we went here, we went there. I'm like, you know what? This is such a great way for them to connect and see all these old memories.
Right.
So, yeah,
really cool.
They don't remember a lot of things.
Yeah, it's Europe is an interesting place. There's certain places in Europe I've always wanted to go, and then certain places, like I'm not big on France. I know everybody loves France or whatever.
I'm with you. I went to Paris 3 years ago. I hated it. Right before COVID. For my birthday.
Okay.
It was hot. It was dangerous.
Dangerous? Really?
Yeah, I had two incidences where guys were stalking me. One of them, they were trying to sell me wine. You know, the guys are like los jineteros.
Yeah, the
no,
gypsies.
jineteros.
No.
Jineteros.
Gitano.
Gitano.
The gypsies, yeah.
Yeah, the gypsies. And I mean, I had to to run away.
Wow.
Yeah, and at that time also the Uber drivers were being attacked because the taxi drivers didn't want, their business in the area. So we actually got rammed. A taxi driver rammed.
Wow.
You know how the streets are like really tiny, the alleyways? Yeah. So that trip, I actually cut it short. I got on a train and I went to visit a friend in Switzerland. I left the Airbnb. I left it to my friends. I'm like, I'm out. Paris is not for me.
Yeah, France has never. The only place in France I would like to visit is Versailles. Is it Versailles?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Versailles.
Yeah.
That's because
that would be.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I love history. I'm fascinated with history. I love, especially learning about powerful people and how they amass power, why they did it, what motivated them, what made them different from the people of that era. So specifically, have you ever read any of Robert Greene's books?
No.
I would highly recommend it. You would really like them. He's written.
I'll tell you why I haven't.
Go for it.
For many reasons, the way I was brought up.
Okay.
You know a little bit about that, but I was brought up in a very small community, and the only books we read were part of our religion.
Religious texts.
There was a lot of books that I didn't. I'm starting to actually catch up on my movies, my reading, a lot of things. So it's interesting to always hear you talk because you always teach me something.
Yeah. I mean, I try.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's almost like you lived in a bunker for, I don't know how many years you were
pretty
there.
Much.
That's pretty crazy.
33 years.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
So Robert Greene he's my favorite author, hands down. I can't even think of someone who comes to a close second. He's written a book called The 48 Laws of Power. He's written the 33 Strategies of War. He's written Mastery. He's written The Art of Seduction, Law of Human Nature. It's books that are fantastic books. And you need to really sit down and read them because they're part story and they're also part philosophy and they're part practicality. They're very multifaceted, and I love his books.
So if I were to pick one and start with one of
Start
those.
one right now?
Yeah, which one?
The Art of Seduction. You would love that book.
I think that one.
Such a good book.
Yeah,
Very,
that
very
sounds
good
like
book.
I would like that.
Yeah, start with The Art of Seduction. That's maybe more.
Maybe it'll get me wanting to read the other ones.
Yeah. That one, because the other ones are a little more, they talk about war and power. So there's some people don't like his books because, for instance, the 48 Laws of Power is his most famous book, arguably, and it's the first one he ever wrote. And a lot of people don't like it because it tells stories of people that were really conniving or people that were really corrupt and the things they did to amass power. However, you need to also see it as a way of the things to look out for. It's not to mirror those behaviors. And some stories are. Some stories are, for example, he talks about Alexander the Great. You're talking about a guy who conquered the known world at age 26. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you want to learn? Yeah. However, there's other stories in there of kings that were just really bad people.
Terrible.
However, it's something to look out for in life, It's something to just be aware that it's out there and be aware that a lot of people use these tactics and just, know that it's out there and know that it might happen to you. So if you're aware of it, obviously, you can avoid it.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, his books are amazing. Start with The Art of Seduction.
I'll add that to my library.
That one, I don't know if you've heard of 75 Hard. The Andy Frisella program. It's basically just an exercise program mixed in with personal development. You do a lot of different things for 75 days. It changed my life. I lost
You've done that one too?
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah.
You've done a lot of cool things.
Yeah. Thanks.
For real? Yeah. I mean, we met in a cool event.
Yeah.
Gratitude training. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It sucks they went out of business. I want to refer people to that thing all the time.
I know. I just met a friend that I have a friend that we just reconnected. And he told me he went to that too. And they're still getting together. Actually, for Thanksgiving, for Friendsgiving, their group is still getting together.
Wow.
Yeah. Like,
That's
I
really
wish they had that.
Maybe
they don't come back.
They're doing another version of it. Not the same company, but a lot of the same people, though.
Oh, okay.
So I'll tell you about it when we finish
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
They've been doing it up in Pompano, and it's been going well. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm just a person that's always looking to get better.
What's your next project?
This?
No, you're the next. You're gonna sign up for another personal development. Are you looking to sign up to another personal development program?
I don't look for them, but if they pop up,
Yeah.
I do them.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Like I told you I'm doing masterclass. That one, oh my god,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm signing up.
I'm gonna get them as a sponsor. They owe me money at this point from how good I talk about them on this podcast. Yeah, it's been. I actually commented. It's funny. I commented on one of their. So a friend of mine sent me when they actually announced the Duffer Brothers were gonna be a part of Masterclass. He sent me the preview, and they're dropping on this date, whatever. I commented on it, and Masterclass liked my comment. It was really cool.
Yeah. It's like a celebrity liked your
right. Exactly. Or we're like when a verified person on Instagram reshares a story, you tag them on, you're like, oh my God. It's a real thing,
Totally.
So, yeah, Masterclass. I'm almost done with that lesson. I'm gonna start it all over again though. This time I'm just taking notes and watching it, and then the second time I'm gonna dissect it a little more. I'm probably gonna do it like start writing because I have a script semi-written out. And I'm not really working on the script right now because most of it, I have it and I just have to organize it. So I'm watching it all the way through just to learn the process of what they do. And then the second time I watch it through, I'm actually going to start writing my script as I'm watching it. And
is that the script you had talked to me about?
Yeah. Oh, that I told you. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
I got a little insight.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Yeah. Remember, I want your boyfriend to play that guy.
Yeah. I'm signing him up. He doesn't even know it. He's signing up.
I got to meet him one of these days.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll invite him
on the podcast. For sure, yeah. He was
doing a play in Atlanta, right?
No, right now here in
here,
yeah, in Lincoln Road. Atlanta was great too. That was Swindlers. Here he portrayed the father of Elian, which we all know that Cuban story.
Yeah.
And we'll see what comes up next.
That's really cool. Yeah, we'll do lunch one of these days when when him and I aren't busy because
I know
we're both you too, man. You're hard to get a hold of sometimes.
I know. We're multitasking. I'm a mom trying to survive in Miami.
No, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, of course. Definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
and a realtor, so you're everywhere. Your clients come. At least for me, it's like family clients. My boyfriend is a priority, so it's so many things. Yeah,
definitely.
Sometimes I forget I have to take care of myself first, actually, because then I cannot take care of anyone, and I keep I'm reminding myself that, and people are reminding me of that. So some days, every other Monday and Tuesday are my days. Every other Monday and Tuesday, I take it and my days could mean cleaning the house because I enjoy cleaning my house and feeling at peace there, but it's just me alone.
Right.
It's self-care, doing my nails, my hair, whatever, but just in my thoughts, and I'm so much more productive for the next 2 weeks. But yeah.
So a big part of my process in my life, something I've implemented, and I implemented it by mistake. On my way to work every morning, I take about 30 to 40 minutes to get to work from my house. Mm-hmm. And one day I stopped playing. I used to listen to like personal development kind of stuff because it would start my morning with something positive. Recently though, I didn't turn on the radio, and I didn't know why. I forgot why. It was just one of those days where I had something on my mind and I didn't turn on the radio. And I finished the drive to work, and I got out of my car, and I was thinking, wow, that silence was really nice.
Yeah, you heard your thoughts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I
love driving quiet.
Quiet, yeah. So now it's just a daily ritual I do every morning. I drive to work for 30 or 40 minutes and just silence. I just let my brain,
recharge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So
it's important. I do that all the time. Yeah, super important.
For sure.
I mean, I'm always hearing in my house, my kids. Something's going on all the time. I'm trying to be of service to other people. So that's important too.
For sure.
Quiet time.
I think we're in a society that is so, we have so much stuff that we're listening to and seeing and is around us, and it's constantly being shoved in our faces and shoved down our throats and shoved into our ears. It comes to a point where your thoughts aren't even yours anymore. You're regurgitating things from other people and other things you've seen or videos you saw on Instagram or this thing I saw on YouTube or on and on and on. This thing I heard in a rap song. So when I have silence in the morning, it's my all right. This is my own idea. I come up with an idea. I write it down on my phone. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I actually came up with something I liked. I didn't have any outside influences, and it was just me thinking, having a thought process, and all right. This is mine, They're like, I came up with this, It wasn't some regurgitated stuff,
I'm with you.
Definitely.
Self-love, self-care.
That's important, man. Mm-hmm. Something as simple as just not answering the phone for a few hours and just...
That's a hard one for me. But you know what? I turn off my WhatsApp notifications because that's too much.
You're in like 150 group chats, I bet.
Every classroom for each grade.
Oh my God.
It's too much.
No.
Every sport.
I don't have the time for that, man.
Yeah.
Whenever someone puts me in a group, I immediately click. No, I exit the group. You know how?
No, really?
Boom, boom,
No,
boom,
I
exit.
keep it there.
And I call
I
whoever.
have fear of missing out.
No.
But I'll check when.
You'll be fine. Trust me.
Yeah.
If someone needs to get a hold of you, they're going to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Nobody calls these days. I don't call. I tell my friends when I'm going to call them. I'm like, can I call you in 5 minutes?
I call people all the
I
time.
find it so weird. I know you do. When you call me, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
My phone is ringing. This is so
I do it
odd.
with all my friends.
Yeah.
I call them if I'm just I ran.
Do you FaceTime call your guy friends?
I don't FaceTime call almost anyone. No.
I feel
Not by surprise. It might be like I'll call my friend. Yo, call me on WhatsApp. I want to show you something.
Yeah.
And not randomly though.
I've noticed that guys call each other more on FaceTime than girls.
Really?
Yeah, it's odd. Girls know, like, you're not gonna call me if I'm not ready. I don't have makeup on or whatever. But guys are like, hey, bro, look at this. Or I don't know. I've just come across that.
Well, yeah. If a friend of mine calls me on WhatsApp or FaceTime or whatever, I'll answer. You know.
But they'll just call you without telling you.
Yeah.
On FaceTime. Girls will not do that. I mean, I haven't. None of my girlfriends.
Really?
Yeah.
But bro, who
don't
cares?
know.
You're just home. You know.
I know, but we're so self-conscious.
That's a abuelita thing. My grandma, you know what she says? She's like, no, yo me voy a morir con maquillaje puesto.
Oh yeah, my grandmother too. She would die if I would go to Publix without makeup.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
Just to go to Walgreens,
She's
you know?
a very classy woman. I mean, I still wear stuff from my grandmother's closet. My grandmother's closet. She has beautiful vintage clothes. I used to wear her heels until the other day. They've gotten rid of some of them because she's 90 and I can
Wow.
still wear her stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah, she was very pepilla. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, that's a.
Bebia is like very like very stylish, I guess.
Yeah.
That's cool. My grandma, she's about to turn 80. She's like 78, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And she's full blown makeup, clothes,
It's a Cuban thing.
prenda, like jewelry from her wrist all the way up to her elbow.
Oh my God.
You know, wearing the necklaces. That's a typical thing of ours.
Yeah.
I learned something valuable from her though. You shouldn't value material possessions. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you value something and then you lose it, you're valuing something that has no substance whatsoever.
100%. When I started I learned that by life, just teaching me lessons. When I got divorced, I started with a backpack, only with a backpack.
Wow.
That's all I had. And I was never happier with nothing. I can just go and do and be, and I didn't have anything weighing me down. I didn't have to think, where am I going to put that? How am I going to take that? How am I going to take this from there to that? It was the best feeling. And after that, I'm not attached to anything. In fact, when I buy something, I get rid of something. The less, the better.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no.
I'm all about,
Yeah.
I'm very light. What's the opposite of a pack rat? I don't even know how to.
I wouldn't even know.
I live lightly.
Yeah. But I didn't. I mean, when I was much younger, I had 150 pairs of shoes. I just kept collecting stuff. I wasn't a hoarder. I was always very organized, but I didn't value how much that weighs you. I didn't realize that. And then when it was just stripped away, I wasn't stripped away. I voluntarily left it all.
Right.
It felt just like, wow, amazing. I can start from scratch. That was a good feeling. From then on, I'm not attached to a single thing.
I had two major experiences in my life where I realized material possessions are a total burden. I was 12 years old and my house burned down. I had 15 pairs of Jordans. I had things that
That's hard.
as a
That's
kid.
not by choice.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I only had 2 pairs of clothes. And they didn't make me wear a uniform at school. And I was like, wow, this has some perks. Losing everything you have is interesting. I had my godfather on in one of these episodes, and he says he's a firm believer. Man, I need to write a script about his life. He's a firm believer that every person in their life should lose everything they have at least once. Because you're not going to realize, you're not capable of imagining the character you find out that is within you when you rebuild everything from nothing. And you get it all back and more.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm with you. You
Yeah.
value everything more when you work for it,
Yeah.
not when it's handed to you.
Yeah, yeah. So when everything burned down when I was a kid and I had nothing left, I realized that all of it was replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
I could get it all back.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And also you find out who are your true friends. Because you never imagine when there's money involved, that's when you know who your true friends are and who they're not, and who steps up to the plate.
For sure.
Yeah. And then you really surprised about who doesn't.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
you learn so much.
The second experience where I realized I was reminded that material possessions are nothing. My grandfather was dying in the hospital, and I used to live with him. So he was already about to go to hospice. Like, it was apparent that he was going to pass away. So I'm home. I'm not going to live in that place because I'm just going to be reminded of him every day. So I decided to move. I'm there deciding what to keep of his. I tried to keep as much as I could of his, but there's just certain things I can't keep. So I'm throwing away all his furniture. I'm throwing away a lot of his clothes. I'm throwing away a lot of his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm throwing this all away, he was a person that was big on material possessions. Like, he used to dress really nice. He had great style. He was still dancing salsa at age, 70 something before he died.
Did he collect a lot of knickknacks?
Yeah, he was a bit of a hoarder.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm throwing all this stuff away, and I'm like, man, this guy valued all this garbage, and he's rotting in a hospital. I'm throwing it all away.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm never going to value material possessions ever again. What am I going to value? The non-tangibles. I told myself I'm going to value, all right, so first and foremost is experiences, 100%. I'm going to travel. I'm going to spend time with family. I'm going to, the day I find a woman that I fall in love with or whatever, I'm going to spend time with her, my kids. I'm going to value experiences. I'm going to value time. I'm going to value things that you can't put a price on, right? I can buy a clock. I can't buy time, I can pay a doctor to see me. I can't buy health. Those kinds of things, So it's value the intangible. That's what I value now.
No, but sometimes life hits you with those lessons.
Yeah.
You don't expect them, and they're meant for you because they're good for you.
110%.
Yeah.
Sure. So that was a unique experience for sure. In the middle of all that chaos, my life was very chaotic back then. He was passing away. Mind you, I had lived with him for a decade.
With only him?
Yeah, just me and him. Yeah. So
how old were you?
that was 2018. I was about 26.
Okay, that was not too long ago.
My mid-20s, yeah. About 4 years ago. I used to gratitude helped me a lot. I used to carry a lot of guilt.
Yeah.
I used to blame myself for his death.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Why, you felt like you didn't give enough time? You didn't get him seen before?
No. So what happened was he was already recovering from surgery and he was fine. He was just like semi-lucid or whatever. And then he was conscious already. And he had a tube up his nose that was draining because his surgery he had was like related to his digestive system. So the tube was draining the excess, like the fluid that becomes feces or whatever. It was draining it. And then I guess I left the room for a second to take his sister to the car so she could leave. And I come back and he pulled the tube out.
I had a similar experience with my dad, and I had guilt too.
Yeah. So for years, I blamed myself. I was like, man, if I was there, he wouldn't have pulled the tube out of his nose. And that tube, I'm not going to tell you the details because they're pretty bloody.
Yeah.
He died, though. Because of that, he died.
Yeah.
So, and gratitude,
But it would have been at that moment, or had you left at another moment, you weren't going to be there 24/7. So you can't hold that.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
You would have at one point left to sleep, at one point left to take a shower. So it was inevitable. Like, it would have happened. They get anxiety. The same thing happened with my dad. So very, very similar story.
Yeah, I've realized that the past is the past. There's nothing you could do to change it. What you can control is the present moment, right? So what are you going to do with now? You can't do anything with yesterday, and you can't do anything with tomorrow. So what are you going to do? Sit here and whine about it and just pester and let that fester in your brain, or are you going to move on?
Yeah.
You're going to move on.
Yeah. That's what he would want you to do.
For sure. Definitely. Yeah, it's interesting how I'm a person that in my worst moments of my life, I learn the best lessons. And that's typically how it is. There's a reason my book is black and white. It represents the yin and the yang. It represents the good and the bad in life. It represents you can't have the good without the bad. You can't have the bad without the good. And in order for you to live a fulfilled life, it's not about not having any bad at all or not going through those moments. It's about what are you going to do with those moments? Because those moments happen to everybody. It's not a matter of it never happening to you, because divorce, bankruptcy, prison, death in the family, health issues, all these things happen to everybody. It's not a matter of that not happening. It's a matter of how am I going to react to this?
Yeah. Not victimizing yourself. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because everybody, you always think, oh, why does it happen to me and not somebody else? But it happens to everyone.
So that book cover, it's not just because it's Scarface and Tony Montana is my inspiration and all that. It's because of that, the yin and the yang, you know. And if you notice, I'm wearing the opposite of what Tony was wearing in the cover of the film. He's wearing a white suit with a black shirt. I'm wearing a black suit with a white shirt. Meaning, I was inspired from this, and from this, something new came. You know. So
You thought about all the details.
yeah,
Yeah.
somewhat.
Yeah.
Bit of an artist when I choose to be. You know. Have you? Do you draw? You told me something. You do something artistic, don't you? I remember you told me something.
I'm all over the place.
That I know.
Artistic? No. We opened up a photo booth business now, but I haven't spoken too much about that. It's really fun. It's not your typical photo booth.
What's it like?
It has AI technology. It has really cool stuff,
Really?
like for corporate events. You can actually interact with the mirror. It's a beautiful 6-foot mirror.
Wow.
Really fancy, really
Cool.
luxurious. Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm excited about rolling that out.
Dope.
Yeah, I mean, we're always at events. We're always doing all sorts of things, and just a little add-on, something fun, and we're gonna do it ourselves. So
That's super
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Super awesome.
In Miami, you need to have a couple jobs.
Just, I mean, that's a whole other subject.
That's another subject.
That's,
That's for another day.
Yeah, you got to have 2 jobs, a side hustle, and a full-time business.
Yeah.
Right?
An OnlyFans foot page.
Yeah. We haven't even gotten into that. This lady makes some big money just selling pictures of her feet. Listen, if I was a woman and someone wanted to pay me $500 or $1,000 or whatever for a picture of my feet, you think
You would do it laughing.
Of course.
Right.
I don't blame you guys. Yeah.
I actually quit that. I did that for
Why
a
would
minute
you?
during COVID. Well, I'm in a relationship and it feels kind of awkward. I know it's
Picture of your
ridiculous.
feet?
I know, but it feels wrong when they're asking for it and you're next to your partner. I mean, he laughs at it. He's not.
Of course, he's not gonna care.
But it's inconvenient also because they want it at the time that they want it.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay, that makes sense. That
yeah,
makes sense.
it's
I got you.
not just one. It's not like Instagram. You post it when you're creative.
So interesting enough, one of the things that I was going to talk to you about is relationships. See, I told you this is organic. ¿Viste?
Okay.
This is very organic. It always. So, and you touched on OnlyFans, right? So, what do you think about this whole new wave of young women coming up with OnlyFans and like independent women and all that? What are your thoughts?
Okay, that's 2 different things. What do I think about independent women, or what do I think about women going?
Well, technically,
like
they're
being independent and saying, "I'm just gonna do this" while they have another job, like while they're teachers.
no. I mean, like these full blown OnlyFans women that are like, oh, and then I'm getting the bag and all that stuff. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think these women probably were very open-minded, seductive, lived that life before, and they weren't getting paid for it. So I think it's smart business. I don't judge it at all.
You don't think it's leading to some sort of decay morally in society?
The porn has always been there, and the girls haven't been rewarded. So now they're taking it into their own hands. Now they're becoming the CEOs of their life. Before, the men controlled it. Before, the men took the videos and posted it without the girls knowing. Now the girls are like, fuck that, and now it's their choice.
Interesting.
I don't see anything wrong with it at all. I mean, in fact, and I'll tell you this, I met a girl not too long ago at a strip club, and she sat down and told me her whole story, and I thought it was amazing. She brought her whole family from Cuba. In fact, she had more money in her bank account than some of my clients. She was ready to buy a house.
Wow.
I'm like, good for you. She was just like, I'm doing this just to bring my family. And why not have fun with it? And it just gave me like another
Interesting.
outlook on, wow, these girls are hustlers. I don't see any, by choice themselves, they feel beautiful, they're showing off their body, they're not doing it forced. I mean, what's your take?
So I mean, you're a consenting adult, so you can do whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you what to do. My perspective is we're promoting hookup culture, right? So we're promoting this, super fly-by-night stuff.
OnlyFans.
Everything's on
Well,
everything's
100
instantly accessible.
Okay,
right?
so 100%, but what's the difference between OnlyFans and Pornhub, let's say? I mean, it's still porn. It's still easily accessible.
Right.
Now you just have to pay to.
Right, and you're paying to a specific person who's consensually sending stuff. I'm okay with that. Like I said, they're adults. What I'm saying is, as a whole, we're promoting this idea that okay, so my perspective, right? That's something very intimate. We're talking about someone's video, like sexual videos and pictures and things like that. I think it not only erodes what that actually is, like the significance behind it. I think that's something that shouldn't be shared so easily. And since we live in this information age and this technology age, there's a lot of women doing it, which again, you're a consenting adult, you can do whatever you want. However, there's got to be a caveat there where, like,
it's not all positive. I can tell you plenty of cons too. I mean, there's less teachers because they rather go on OnlyFans because they make more money. That's a fact. That's an actual fact.
Right.
So there is a lot of cons that are the bigger picture. It's not good. But is it bad for these girls?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Is it bad for society is the question. And that's relative, right? Depending on who you're asking. Me personally, I've told you my story. I cut off porn a long time ago. I don't watch it anymore. I feel mentally good as a person, mentally good as a man. Mentally, just
for many reasons, it's healthier for you to cut that. I mean,
for sure. It's different for women. I don't know how it works for women. For men, whenever I tell them, I man to man, if I'm having a conversation with a man and they're like, man, I feel so bad, like mentally I'm a mess. And one of the first things I ask them, do you watch porn? Oh, yeah, I do. All right, cut it out. Stop doing it for a month and tell me how you feel a month later.
For me, anything that controls you is equal to porn.
For sure.
So I'm going to say this, and you probably won't want to hear it. Being addicted to Call of Duty, to me, is the same thing.
No, exactly the same. Yeah.
I think it's the same thing. You're giving yourself this mental stimulation, and you cannot get off of it. So to me, it's the same thing. The video games, the porn, super equal.
Vices, yeah.
In my opinion.
The only difference is, so as a man, right? The only difference is when you watch porn and then you have that like mental stimulation of wanting to watch it again and again. At least what it did for me was it made me feel like a loser.
Yeah.
Because instead of wanting to go out and actually talk to women, you would want to see this video again and again and again and again.
Because it's easy.
Because it's easily accessible and and mentally what you think is, what's the point? I could just watch a super hot chick that's like hotter than some girl I can talk to on the street. So mentally, that's what it did for me. That's just a person. Wow. And when I cut it out completely, I was a different person.
Yeah.
Different person. I feel.
Do you see women differently?
Very different. Ever since I stopped watching porn, yeah. Very different.
Yeah. And now, like, how is dating life for you now? I mean, do you go out? Do you socialize more than being, I just want to stay home?
No, but not because I'm watching porn. It's because I'm super busy.
Okay.
It's because I'm working.
All right. Anyways, it's the time for you to focus on that. And later, I feel like most men need their career in order before they feel
150,000%.
Yeah, they feel like they cannot. They have nothing to provide. They feel it themselves. I don't think anyone puts that on you. I think that
your finance. If you want a woman to take you seriously, your finances need to be in order. Period. I'm in 100%. So. Women hear me say...
And maybe not your finances, but your drive for sure. Because if you're working towards something, it could be, of course, your finances. You need to
at least know where you're going.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, have a set,
Yes. And be on the way. Not just saying,
exactly.
I'm going to be New York Times bestseller. Okay, where's your book? I'm getting around. No. You know what I mean? You got to have
taking
goals.
Action for sure, 100%. For sure.
Yeah. I'm big on not only... Because there's a duality there for me. One, as a man, you need to have your finances in order because you need to provide. It's just a thing, right? That's just my opinion. However, there's the flip side to that where women are allowed to be independent nowadays because society has changed, and that's totally fine. However, a man is still judged on what he can provide. So I find that interesting because a woman can be independent and do all these things just like we're talking about. No one's allowed to judge her, and no one should judge her. It's okay. However, if a man doesn't provide, he's seen as a bum.
Yeah.
You see how interesting things get when you go down that road.
Yeah.
And then you have some women who are like, no, like, oh, man needs to provide, and it's like, okay, but what value do you bring to him? No, I'm his rock.
Well, the thing is that men feel that they have to provide, and women feel that if they're not providing financially, they're providing at home. They're cooking, they're cleaning, they're taking care of the family, they're taking care of the kids, they're being the home manager,
Which is a very important job, by the way.
Extremely. I think a man can succeed when they have the right woman by their side.
110%.
And so if they feel like their only value is providing finances, then there's nothing wrong with that. I think the problem is if a girl feels like she doesn't have to do absolutely anything, But if you feel like you're filling that role, doing everything at home, when your husband gets home, you have dinner or the laundry done or whatever, you are providing.
For sure. Yeah. I've said this more than once. Nowadays, that doesn't really exist. And it's actually kind of frowned upon by some females. Like, I would never do that. And they think that's like demeaning.
Ways. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not demeaning. Raising kids, having a house in order. Are you kidding me?
It's easier to go to the office.
To build a business, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Bro. then raise 2 or 3 kids and make sure the house is in order and make sure all the bills are paid, because most of the time, you already know the woman is the accountant, the woman is...
I used to be a human resource manager, and I quit my job to raise my kids. And when they started school and I had to go back to work, and I went back to work, I was like, wow. Going back to the office so much easier. I can stop and have coffee. I can go to lunch with my friends.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist as a stay-at-home mom. It's way harder to stay at home.
Yeah. And I don't like how some, for the most part, I don't know. I haven't seen men say it. I see some modern women say it. Like, they try to demean that, or they think that's meaningless. They're wrong, 100%.
Yeah.
Because my grandmother raised 3 kids. You know what I mean? My great-grandmother raised 6 kids. My other great-grandmother raised 14 kids. So you're not going to sit there and say that being a stay-at-home mother has no meaning. That's the foundation of the world. Women create the people. Like, you create humans. You have the most important job on the planet. So this thing about equal rights, listen, bro, women are superior to men in a million different ways, okay? Not only do you create all the people, you're smarter than men. Let's just get that out of the way. And on top of that, you have the capacity of doing so many things at once. Men don't have that capacity. We can focus on one thing, get it done, and then move on.
We definitely can multitask.
Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why being the rock at the house, I don't know if you knew this, but 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago, doing something entrepreneurial together as a couple was the main thing. Back in Europe, in the Renaissance, let's say, you would go to the market and open your little stand, and you would do it together. You would do it with your wife. And then what would happen throughout the day? You're working together, you're building a business together, and you get home, and then you know, Francesca would say, "Oh, Francesco, remember tomorrow we gotta go find Titiano and get the cabbages from him." And she would remind you about what you have to do tomorrow, and guess what? You're building something together.
That sounds like my relationship.
That's amazing.
I have his calendar in order.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're building something together, as opposed to what's happening in the modern ages. They both have jobs. They both work 8 to 10 hours a day. They're both apart for the majority of the day. And then 10 years pass by, and they look at each other, and they're like, "I don't love you anymore. I don't know why." Maybe it's because you're never together.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? Just a thought.
Yeah, no, that's why I opened up the booth business. Actually, we started working as brand ambassadors together.
Nice.
And we realized we did so well together. And when I wake up earlier than he does, and he goes to sleep later, and we just would take on the load. I'd walk the dog in the morning, he'd walk in the night. And it just like, it flowed so easily. I'm like, we work really well together with a lot of things, and let's do this together.
For sure.
Because when I can't go on with the kids, or we can take turns with the kids even, so back to 400 or 500 years ago, I'm with them. It works.
There's things that are from a long time ago that still apply today. You know, most people assume that things back then, oh no, that's not how things are anymore. Well, the reason things aren't like that anymore is because things are falling apart. Maybe we should take something from our ancestors, you know? Maybe we should learn a few things.
Yeah.
You know? So,
And you talked about people getting divorced because they don't see each other for long periods of time. That's so true. Now, I don't know, like, what's your take on why people don't want to commit to a relationship?
Because maybe because going full circle, maybe it's because we're promoting hookup culture. You know? I was one of those people. Let me tell you. So this is what I experienced. Coming out of high school, a lot of my friends got their girlfriends pregnant and had kids young and basically got married or whatever. And I felt it was too soon to commit. I was too young and I didn't want that. I said, I'm gonna go out there. I'm going to learn what I want in a woman. And then in a few years, if it pops up, sure, I'll commit to a relationship. In the meantime, though, I'm not looking for it. And I'm glad I did that because in my 20s, I learned a lot. Now I know what I want in a woman. Now I know what I like.
No, it's good you didn't commit early.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. There's the word dating because you're supposed to date.
Correct.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with dating. You're not supposed to commit to every girl you date.
Yeah, because every girl isn't commitment material. Just like every man. Every man is not a commitment material.
It could just not be a good match. They could be commitment material for somebody else.
Correct. Yeah. And I've come to learn now, as I've grown I've turned 30 a few months ago, is that men don't really hit their stride until their early or mid 30s. That's when we really hit our stride in several different facets.
Or 40.
Financially. Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah, I always dated much older, at least 10 years older.
Nothing wrong with that. They're financially, they're probably in their prime of their life. They're wiser than they've ever been, obviously. They have much more experience. They can offer a lot more. It makes sense. It makes sense. When I was young, I thought it was kind of gross for a really young woman to date an older guy. It makes sense, though. Now that I look back and I'm like, no, it makes a lot of sense, you know? So, yeah, now I'm seeing that, and now I'm excited because now, you know, as you know, I'm always moving, always doing new things. And now I'm that guy who's about to hit her stride. And I was like, wow, I thought I was hitting my stride in my late 20s. No, in my late 20s, I wasn't even getting started, you know? So
fun times ahead.
Yeah. And, you know, as you know, I lost a lot of weight. And a lot of things come together around this time of a man's life.
You'll feel more confident.
Yeah.
Go out and get what you want, not settle.
Yeah. Listen, I thought I couldn't get any more confident as a person. I was wrong. I was wrong.
That could be dangerous.
No, as long as you're confident, not arrogant.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So.
No, I've seen the growth in you.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. You're doing great.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
So whenever you want dating advice, when it's that time, you let me know.
Well, I mean, I've already asked for it prior to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yo, what is it about you that all your friends approach you for like dating advice?
I don't know. I think it's mostly guys.
That makes me feel better, right? Oh,
mostly guys, they just want a girl's perspective. And I'm pretty I don't judge. And I try to give real advice. So I enjoy it.
So let's have the discussion we had when we ate dinner that one time. So we talked about what's the right setting to meet the ideal man, and you were like, and I said a bar is not the ideal setting to meet a man. So I thought about that question, and I'm gonna tell you my answer. The reason is the bar is where a lot of the guys go to be like, man, I need to blow off some steam. Let's go hook up with some chicks.
But any bar, even a small bar, or you're talking about a club?
No, a club is even worse. That's like the Shark Tank.
Okay.
The bar, though.
So where do you go meet a relationship material? I mean,
as long as it's not like some like Ultra or something, you know, don't go to like a party scene. You got to go somewhere classy.
I know where you go. Publix.
Yes.
Whole Foods.
Yes. I met some.
The dog park.
Yeah, seriously.
You have a dog?
Not yet.
Okay, so when that time comes, you're going to get a dog.
There you go. Dog park.
I don't know. I'm just thinking that's
Publix, Starbucks.
Starbucks? Okay.
You can meet your wife at Starbucks, you know. Maybe at a business convention or something, you know. Or some sort of something. You're in real estate. Maybe you go to a real estate conference. Work in a work environment, you know. A great place would be one of the personal development things we do.
Yeah.
You're looking.
Yeah, I guess because you're both. Yeah.
You're both developing yourself. You're both looking for different things in life. Mm-hmm. You know, I to this day, I have a good friend who met his wife at a Tony Robbins conference. Yeah. And they're still married. They've been married 7 years. They have a kid together. Those are good environments. Yeah.
Yeah. I was in an environment like that last weekend in Orlando. I went to a conference, also growth and development. And there was actually 2 couples there that met in one of those. So you're right. think that's why you're going to all of them.
I'm looking for a wife. I got caught.
I never got to do that. When I got divorced, it was all the new dating apps. So I did all the dating apps.
No, I've deleted all of it. I'm done.
But that was when it was new. I wouldn't do it now.
That makes No, I'm done with dating apps. Completely done.
I probably wouldn't be on them right now. I met my boyfriend. My boyfriend was the only guy I met in a real setting, not on a dating app. None of those meetups went anywhere.
Where'd you meet him?
At a restaurant grand opening in Coral Gables.
All right, so it wasn't a bar.
It wasn't a bar. It was a restaurant. But he did bring me a drink.
So technically, it's kind of like a bar. That's funny. There you go. Yeah. I thought about that question.
Mutual friends, but the key was
mutual friends is the best.
That was the key.
That's
when we were there,
yeah.
we had mutual friends. That was the key because then he got to ask about me and I got to ask about him.
Yes, mutual.
Look him up.
That's the best way to meet a person.
You know what's a good? We were talking about no apps, but a good app is the Facebook dating app because you see the mutual friends.
Okay.
And when that started, I tried that for a minute and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool because you can actually see where they really work. And you could see if you have mutual friends and ask them about.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done with virtual dating.
It must be. After COVID, I can't imagine. Has it changed?
I wouldn't know. I deleted the dating apps off my phone 3 years ago.
So where
right
do
after
you
COVID.
go to disconnect? Do you go maybe to the gym? It doesn't have to be, out at night, but...
Depends. Like I just
gym
went.
Is a good place.
Yeah, no, the gym. That's another place you can meet someone. Right? I mean, you're both getting fit. You're working on yourself. You know?
Yeah, I think do what you love, and that's where you'll find that person. So if I love bike riding, I would be on all the bike clubs. If I love yoga, I would be in all the yoga classes. For sure. So that's Daybreaker. Have you been to Daybreaker?
No. What's that?
Oh, I love that. That's kind of like gratitude plus party plus yoga.
Interesting.
It started in New York.
I've heard of it. I've never been there, though.
Oh, you would love it. There's no alcohol. It's all organic stuff and natural. The idea is, or it started in New York, to start your day off right. Once a week, I think they would do it and go to work all pumped up. But it's a daytime party.
Interesting.
Daybreaker, that's where it comes from.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might do it.
Yeah. You would like it. Maybe you'll meet your person there.
Maybe. Yeah. It sounds.
Get ready to do yoga though. They start with yoga or a sound meditation.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. No, sound meditation is great. Oof, the little.
Especially if you're always going. They do it. They've done a couple where they put the headphones on you, and somebody will play the piano. And you
that is so relaxing.
But you hear right there. Yes, it's amazing.
That's awesome. I went on they did one where they did the flute, the sound thing. And then someone played the Indian flute.
Oh, you mean the sound bowls?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Indian flute was nuts. Ever since I had that, whenever I just wanted to be alone and I needed silence, I played like Native American flute music really low. And I had it in the background and it was great. I loved it. Yeah. I don't know what it is about. They used to, apparently in their culture, they used it to call for spirits and things like that. It definitely has a frequency going on there. I don't know what it is. That frequency.
Just like the sound bowls. It has a frequency.
For sure.
There's frequencies for everything. If you go on YouTube, everything. To heal from disease and to make money. Like from one end of the spectrum to the other.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
D.
Yeah.
I loved having you here. This was
thank
amazing.
You for having me.
This was absolutely fantastic. It took some effort. Yeah. I got it done though.
You got me here.
No, everything happens organically. The first time I tried, I didn't have my studio yet. Now.
You see? It was meant to be now.
Meant to be, for sure.
Yeah. Congratulations on your studio. Congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have a signed copy.
Yes, you do. So I always end all my podcasts the same way. I ask 3 questions. So 1, what inspires you?
What inspires me? My children. Seeing them grow and being good people to this community. Seeing them just giving themselves to other people. Being grateful for what they have. My children, 100%. They inspire me. They're little me's. My son, mostly. My daughter, too, of course. But he always has something very interesting to say that even coming to this podcast, like I told you when I got here, I told him, I'm a little worried. I'm going to do a podcast tomorrow, and I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. And he was just like, Mom, Come on. You just got to go in there and think it's just a podcast. And for real, the little things.
Just a conversation.
Yep.
What's your dream?
My dream. My dream. Wow. Long or short answer?
It's up to you.
Are you going to answer these 3 too?
If you want me to.
I do.
Okay, sure.
Okay. My dream is to continue to have, again, healthy children. Health is so important. I value very much being able to be around people I could be vulnerable around. And so I want to continue being inspired with those around me to continue just being myself. I wasn't myself for many, many years. I just want to, I'm living my dream. Like, as I'm telling you this, I don't have a dream that I am living my dream. Everything I told my boyfriend one time when we started dating 6 years ago, I was like, you don't believe in fairy tales? And he's like, you're so silly. And I told him, I can have everything I want, because he's an actor, so he was going to leave to New York. And he's like, you can't have the family and the Hollywood life. You can't. And I'm like, I could have anything I want. And now when he came back and he's doing the acting 100% and I have the kids and everything's flowing so well, I told him, I told you I got my fairy tale. So I think I'm living my dream. Just being myself, having nothing holding me back. Yeah.
What's next for you?
Ooh, what's next? Growing my business, both my real estate and the Lux Mirror booth. Those 2 things, growing that. I do want to be financially stable, so when my kids want to travel, I can provide that for them. I want them to travel the world. So that is right now ingrained in me, that I want them to have a big trip every year. For the last 3-4 years, I've struggled financially a bit, just getting out of a divorce and doing, everything on my own for a while, for a long while, for 6 years. Now I have a lot of support, but for them to be able to travel, that I can provide that to them so they can experience the world. Like I said, I grew up in a bubble, so I didn't see a lot, and I just want to be able to provide that financially for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're the only person who's ever asked me to answer the questions as well. So.
Yeah. If those questions were asked to me, it's because they're important to you. So
Very important. Yeah. I like learning about what inspires people, what they want in life, how they feel about what they're doing now, where they want to be. I like learning about different people. Yeah.
So it's your turn.
So my turn, right? So what inspires me?
What inspires you?
Having the opportunity to get better every day. Seeing myself now and looking back 6 months ago and being better at something, that's so motivating to me, man. Because I look back and I see how far I've come.
You like the challenge.
And then, I'm always up for the challenge, right? I love competing, especially with myself. So I look back and I see how far I've come, and then I look forward and it's like, man, how far can I go? That's what's really inspiring to me. The question. If I've come, literally, I ask myself this one question, and I get so excited. If I've come this far, how far can I go? It's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
My dream, I'll try to keep it short. So my main dream is to write an Emmy-winning TV show.
A TV show, okay. What type of show?
I would like, it's a superhero show, about the comic I told you I'm writing about. Yeah, I'd like my comic to become mainstream, something like a Superman or a Batman like that.
Okay. Can't wait to see it.
Definitely. And I want to inspire people through my words. Yeah, whether it's my podcast or a live
You're doing that already.
Yeah.
So you're living your dream.
I want it to go critical mass, of course, Yeah. So whether it's through my books, through my podcast, through a speaking engagement, through meeting somebody on the street, just through my words, through my ideas to inspire people.
Nice. And what's next?
What's next is finish writing the script, lose about 30 or 40 more pounds, get ripped.
Whoa, wow.
And
what are you doing? Are you doing CrossFit? Are you doing something specific?
I was lifting weights 3 times a week, and I was doing martial arts 3 times a week.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of switching gyms, though, because I got the new career or whatnot. So once I get that, I'm going to go back to lifting weights and martial arts, which I really love, and that's been a good therapy for me. So I got to keep doing that.
Nice.
And what's next is, get ripped and take over the world. Write a TV show that's going to make a lot of money and become super famous.
Yes.
Yeah. All righty. D, how can people connect with you?
Instagram. Miami with Doralis.
Perfect.
It's easy. Miami_with_Doralis. Doralis.
Perfect. All righty, guys. That's been another episode of the Montana Method Podcast. If you're not chasing your dream, life is meaningless. Push it to the limit. The world is yours. See you next time.
I've been out here hustling all my life. Every day we get into it. Really out here in these streets. That's day and night. Like there's nothing to it. When I was going through it, dog, I never got your call. I never asked for nothing, no. But now I want it all. I promise I'ma do it. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags.